Bizarre Brain Comics. Hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I am Gary, your host. And this is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and examine the stories and the art. And this time, this is again in conjunction with my dad's 100th birthday, which was at the time of the shooting was just a couple days ago on September 1st. But it'll be about a week before this one gets uploaded. But the last time was a Western comic, and my dad was just a big fan of Westerns, and the few comic books that he would read of mine when I was a kid would be some Westerns and some war comics. And he, as I said, it was his 100th birthday, and it was my brother's 75th birthday. And we're all three Navy veterans. And my dad was on the USS Iowa, and he witnessed the Japanese surrender way back when, at the end of World War II. At least the war against Japan. Okay. So therefore, I'm doing Sergeant Rock, the special edition #1. And this is representing the classic saga by Kanigher and Kubert. That's written by Robert Kanigher and drawn by Joe Kubert, featuring a team-up between, of all things, Sergeant Rock and the Viking Prince. And these are two characters that Joe Kubert was so closely identified with. And this is reprinting a story from Our Army at War, numbers 162 and 163 in 1966. And now the war comics were mostly pretty much for the most part pretty down to earth, but they had little steps into some science fiction or fantasy elements as well once in a while. And this is one of those. Okay, and I'll tell you, this is Sergeant Rock and Easy Company are on a suicide mission. When weren't they? It doesn't specify, but I think it's somewhere along the Scandinavian coast, where the Germans are using attacking shipping with drone aircraft. And I said, is that real? Is that honest? I don't know. But I presume it's more or less so, because I know my dad said that they used to use drone aircraft for target practice and training on board ship. So I presume they probably it's not that far afield to have for them to have had remote controlled armed drone aircraft to attack shipping. So then that's the setup. This commando squad and others are sent on various British ships, and to be landed to try to take out this hidden base of these drone aircraft, which is harassing Allied shipping. So that's where we start. There's a splash page. Here, the Prince and the Sergeant, and it's Sergeant Rock as usual, telling the story first person from his perspective. While they're approaching, they got some downtime, and Little Sure Shot, their Native American squad member, is reading to the boys from a book about the Vikings who raided along these coasts many centuries before. And he tells the story of Jan, the Viking prince, and he was one of the big heroes. Then they come under attack. Bloom from all these ships come under attack from these drones. And the captain of the ship they're on says, "Sorry, Sarge, we won't be able to get close enough to land you properly." So they they're just blasting away at the drones. We're going to have to drop you off in a rubber raft, and they disembark and get on the rubber raft, and then the ship that they had just quitted gets blown out of the water and lose all those British sailors. So they managed to get ashore, and apparently they were the only squad that did so. Well, they're in hiding. There's this big troop of German soldiers marching by. Looks like they're going to be right down on top of where they're hiding. So Rock says, "You guys hide here. When the Germans take off, you go on and try to find the place, that hidden launch site." And he runs off to distract the German soldiers, and they take out after him, and he blasts away as they're after him. They kind of get him cornered, but now they're too close in, and they can't shoot without shooting each other. So he's at fisticuffs. He bulls his way through, gets away, and takes refuge in a shoreside cave that was revealed by the leaving tide. So there's all this great action by Kubert. You can see all the braps and the vims as they're going, and he's hiding in there, and they toss a grenade there. When he gets inside, he sees some ice deep inside the cave, and he sees a figure holding a sword encased in the ice. He goes, "What's this?" And then they throw in the grenade. It goes kablooey, and Rock is stunned. But suddenly, there's another figure there, and he's a Viking. And it happens to be the Viking prince, Jan, the Viking prince. And he lays right into these soldiers, and he is challenging them to kill him because he wants to go back to Valhalla. And he just lays right in part two. He just lays right into those soldiers and lays them all low with his sword. They're shooting away, and has no effect on him. Blasting his deflected by his shield and stuff. And his sword heals Rock's injured ankle that he got in the fight, and then they head on. And meanwhile, then while they're going, Jan tells his story, how he was leading a party a war party against another group of Vikings, because they had fought a lot. He was the last one of his group left. He took refuge in the cave until finally he died, and was whisked off to Valhalla by a Valkyrie. And he fell in love with that Valkyrie. Then in Valhalla, he's plopped right back into the middle of battle, because in Valhalla they spend all day fighting and dying, to be reanimated at night in the hall, Odin's great hall, and they party all night long. And he's fighting the guy he had already defeated. But he says, "I'm going to win the love of the fair maiden of the Valkyrie who brought me." But Odin hears this, and he is not happy, because the Valkyries are supposed to remain maidens. They are for no man. Their whole job is to bring the dead heroes to Valhalla. And he is not happy. He sends... curses him that he will not be able to die. No blade, not by steel, not by ice, not by fire. He will not be able to die. And then he sends him back to Earth, where he is encased in that ice for 1,000 years until he is released. And his whole goal is to die so he can return to Valhalla and win the heart of that fair maiden, who apparently returns his affection, but says she can't. So they're walking along, and then they're attacked by a German aircraft coming out of a camouflaged hangar. It's still on the ground, and just they're right in the way, and they're brapping away at him. It looks like a Stuka. And he just charges right in. Charges right in and said, "No, get down, they're going to die." And he, just with a sword, he takes out that German plane, and it goes kablooey, and he is fine, and he yelled, "Odin, Odin, hear my play!" And that's the end of part two. That would have been the first part of the end of that first issue in '66. Then they come back and bring us back up to date. Now they're carrying on past there. Rock has explained their goal, what they're supposed to. Of course, he doesn't understand it. Then they see that the last of the British ships have been taken out, and they've got to get there. And then they're jumped by some more German soldiers, and again he just lays into them. And Rock is surprised when he can see the ghostly image of Odin and a Valkyrie watching the battle. And she weeps for Jan. Well, the two of them, they just lay all those German soldiers low and carry on their way. Then they're met by a lovely young blonde lady who is supposedly part of the underground that they were supposed to meet there, and supposed to take them to the launch site. And he goes, "Oh, a beautiful damsel." Well, the German soldiers are shooting at her, and the rest of her squad had been killed apparently, and she was the last one. Well, they were attacked by a tank, and they just take out that tank with the sword, deflecting machine gun fire from the inside, as well as Rock's Tommy gun fire through the viewing ports, and lights off the high explosive and the fuel, and kablooey. But Jan is stunned this time, and she's taking care of Jan. Well, this brings Rock sees the image of the Valkyrie, and she seems to be kind of jealous, trying to come between Jan and this lovely young lady. Then they go on their way. And pretty soon he spots, and Rock is a little suspicious because you keep saying, "Where are the rest of your men? Where are the rest of your men?" Well, that's where they're going. On a bit of ice, the rest of his men are being assaulted by another tank. Well, these guys aren't so stupid. The tank can't fire its cannon on that ice, but they toss a bunch of grenades down, kablooey, blow the ice, and they sink the tank. You don't hear that every day. Well, she leads them on to where the launch site is, and they have to go through this hidden tunnel, and she's leading them through, and she's getting so cozy with Jan, and then they're taking point, and suddenly he sees the image of the Valkyrie once again coming to the maiden and covering her mouth. Then he spots an ambush, German soldiers to ambush them, but the Valkyrie had stopped her from calling them out, so they turn the tables and they ambush the German soldiers, take all them out. And they get out all their explosives and put them around the base there, and then they scamper out while Jan holds back the German soldiers. He says, "What's keep me from?" Well, they try to get Jan to come with them, and he says, "What's keep me from a chance at Valhalla and seeing my Valkyrie, Sergeant? Farewell." And he gets out, and then kablooey, and goes, "Ho, Odin, mighty as thou art, thou wilt not keep me out of Valhalla this time." That's pretty. That's a pretty kind of egotistical. He's so great that Odin couldn't keep him out of Valhalla. But Rock sees the Valkyrie taking Jan's spirit back to Valhalla. And it says, "If Odin's curse works, and neither metal nor wood, neither fire nor water can clobber the Viking prince for good, I wonder how long it'll be before he's back making with those kamikaze charges again. I guess nothing's easy in Valhalla." Nothing's easy or in Valhalla. So, and that was cool. That was cool. Sergeant Rock, the Viking prince, taking on the German soldiers and Odin himself. Yeah. Rousing good fun. Lots of good combat action. I really enjoyed that book. See, because not only was my dad a veteran of World War II. Granted, it was the Navy and in the Pacific, but we are also descended from Vikings. So, so that fits right in with that theme. So I do want to thank you so much for joining me. Please like, share, and subscribe. Do leave your comments down below. What do you think of Sergeant Rock? What do you think of Viking Prince? What do you think about them teaming up against the Germans? Huh? Let me know in the comments down below. And remember, woo! Comics are art.